I made this painting about a week after I was terminated from USAID in February, and the only thing that I could think about was making a painting that was kind of a tribute to the U.S. Agency for International Development. The handshake logo is a really important part of USAID's brand identity, like lending a hand to different countries and different communities around the world.
The Warehouse Arts District Association, also known as WADA, is a nonprofit organization in St. Petersburg, Florida. The mission of WADA is to create a sustainable environment for the creative community. Here on campus, our main focus is on sustaining studio spaces for artists. So we subsidize them and we create a number of initiatives that really help them flourish in their career. It's a perfect example of using the lens of the arts to shine light on current affairs.
I am the curator of the Unraveling, A Future Without USAID and its Global Implications. I was a former USAID employee, foreign service officer, and contractor for 16 years. And I came up with the idea to have an exhibit centered around the dismantling of USAID. My goal is to educate people about what USAID was. USAID didn't have a lot of support when it was dismantled, just because people didn't really understand what USAID was and the kind of work that we did. We had about a dozen photographers in total who contributed work to the Unraveling.
The exhibition takes the audience on a journey from when USAID was terminated all the way up until this exhibition. You'll see a painting that I made right after the election. I made it with my body because I had so much pent-up energy that I needed to release on the canvas. I spent some time abroad in Spain and I just painted these beautiful scenes in front of me, and that was my way of re-energizing myself. I'm showing a lot of acknowledgement to my own community and also our natural environment around us. And then I pontificate a little bit on how we can move forward as a society. I feel like the closing of one career in my life led to the launch of another career in my life, which has been like a really special pivot and the silver lining amongst all of the destruction.
Opening night for the Unraveling was a huge success. It was a very moving but also emotional and exciting evening.
We've had hundreds of people here on campus, and a lot of folks came here for the first time specifically because of this exhibit.
We had several former USAID employees, some who had just returned from being overseas. We had Ambassador Chris Hill who came. He is a St. Pete local, and he's been ambassador in several countries, worked with aid on the ground. And then we also had two USAID photographers, Eric Raymond and Abby Anderson. It was just amazing to see the photographers with their photographs printed and hanging on the wall. In addition to opening night, we had the artist talk. It was a great conversation between Ali and I, but the audience was really engaged too. I really felt like people were learning about USAID, learning about what we did.
We had a really great conversation about both of our experiences since USAID was dismantled and how I've used art as a creative outlet and also where to go next in my life.
The final event is a panel discussion of former USAID employees as well as local St. Pete officials. That should be a really good conversation about tying in how USAID supported the arts, how we used art in our work, and then finally, how the dismantling of USAID and other federal agencies affects local communities. For anyone coming to see the exhibit, I hope that they walk away having learned what USAID did, where we worked, the kind of people that we worked with, and the kind of programs that we ran. I also hope that they feel the sense of loss for what USAID meant to this country. We wouldn't have this exhibit without WADA and the space. They've been supportive from the very beginning when I had this idea. It was the #1 event on their calendar.
Folks are interested in these topics. They want to hear about really what's happening in the world, and the arts are the beautiful way to start a conversation.
In moments when there's a lot of upheaval and tumult in the world, I think creating art is kind of like an act of resistance.
WADA has really carved out its lane in presenting thought-provoking and unique exhibits.